And now let's welcome Mohammed Dogar, who is the Vice President of Renesas Electronics Corporation. Mohammed is Head of Global Business Development and Technology Ecosystem for Renesas Electronics. He's responsible for the promotion and business expansion of Renesas total microcontroller portfolio and other key products. As a VP at Renesas Electronics, Mohammed is instrumental in driving the global business growth and alignment of marketing, sales, and development strategies, particularly in the field of IoT, AI, security, smart embedded electronics, and communications. In addition, Mohammed helps to provide the vision and thought leadership behind Renesas's development of products and solutions for smart society and the evolving IoT economy. The topic of Mohammed's talk is Advanced Endpoint Intelligence with Renesas. Mohammed, if you'd like to take it away.
Hi, Max. Hope you can hear me okay.
Yep, I can hear you great.
Great. I'm not sure if my camera's working, but I've tried to turn it on. But anyway, let me share my slides. Can you see my slides?
Yep, looking good.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, RTX Thread, and Max, thanks for the introduction. I'm really pleased to present to you Advancing Endpoint Intelligence. My name is Mohammed Dogar. I head up the Global Business Development and the Ecosystem Partnerships for Renesas Worldwide. In the course of the next few minutes, I'll be talking about how we can capitalize on the opportunities that AI brings, certainly at the endpoint. Last couple of years have been very interesting, to say the least. We have seen COVID really putting some restriction on our mobility, but at the same time, I think from a technological perspective, it's bringing up some very interesting mega trends in the context of IoT and artificial intelligence. We can safely say the world has changed significantly over the past few years. It's putting more pressure and urgency on how we use the digital products around us more intelligently and efficiently. The interesting thing is, even with all the changes in the world that we're experiencing, we have the technology today. You heard my previous speaker from a software perspective that the RTX Thread brings, and from a semiconductor perspective, like Renesas Electronics, we have the technology today to be able to develop next generation of smart devices to better ourselves and those around us and all humans worldwide. In this session, you will learn how endpoint intelligence will have a profound impact on how we interact with IoT devices. At Renesas Electronics, we have the technologies and solutions to help increase the endpoint intelligence for a variety of applications. And ultimately, what we're trying to do here is to make this world more smarter, but enable new revenue streams and services that we can all enjoy. Moving forward, I'd like to talk about the powerful convergence of the AI IoT. Certainly, if you look at the world today, IoT, AI, and 5G are kind of maturing at a similar time frame, bringing up a lot of new opportunity, and it's really going to be transformational. And from embedded perspective, we're looking at 4 key areas. First of all, the technology convergence. A staggering 73 zettabytes of data is expected to be generated by the IoT devices by 2025. This is amazing. The more data in that sense, meaning, really we have more connectivity and IoT is flourishing. And then if you look at the integration of AI and IoT, certainly the distribution intelligence is going to play a key role. While the IoT connects the devices to the internet, in a way, the AI gives it a brain, right? And the integration of AI and IoT will change the face of business in many sectors and fields. Advancement in AI and IoT devices are bringing analytics where it matters at the endpoint, where you can really solve problems, you can reduce the latency issues, improve the security, but more importantly, ensure a real-time decision making, whether it's a sensor in a factory environment or a sensor in an automation world. It really is amazing. If you look at from a market perspective, IDC are predicting that more than 55 billion devices will be connected by 2025. And the interesting fact for all of us in this conference from technology field is the 75% of which is going to be linked to an IoT platform. So this is really, really interesting. When you look at from a new design mindset, I think artificial intelligence is fundamentally changing the way we design things. We're looking at almost what that platform can give as a service to its users, right? We got to consider the technologies like cybersecurity, human-machine interface, how they can come together. In a way, when you look at AI, it's entering into a fourth industrial revolution, an era that will be built and defined by extreme automation. We see this even as a consumer of smartphones. We want everything just to work. AI is fundamentally transforming that mindset and the way we do this. And I think finally, what we see is that the growth that I shared with you in terms of connected devices, the huge amounts of data that's being generated, is generating a lot of growth. A lot of growth in a number of sectors that we operate in, whether it's wearables, whether it's smart home or building automation, the smart city infrastructure, right? Where, we are trying to make products more environmental friendly. And finally, the industrial side. I think that's where with Industry 4.0 emerging with AI IoT is bringing really a new opportunities for us in every field. Let me now change gears and talk about why endpoint intelligence. So if you think about the endpoint AI, we're talking about those smart devices that are connected to the IoT network. It's basically a frontier, in the artificial intelligence that brings the processing power of the AI to the edge. It's really a great way of managing information, accumulating data. So sensors that install, whether it's a factory environment or a consumer environment, is able to collect meaningful data. And endpoint AI will deploy the intelligent functionality at the edge of the network. In other words, it's going to transform the IoT devices that are used to compute data, whether it's for smart tools or AI features. Really, I think if you look at from a performance perspective, this brings the real-time decision-making capabilities and functionalities to the endpoint. So where, if you look at the traditional computing, distributed computing system, you are either communicating to a server or a cloud. Here you have a trained model that deployed in this context running on a Renesas microcontroller or another microcontroller in a smart sensor and be able to take action in real time. And with this connectivity, one of the key concerns is the security and data privacy. It's important that we're able to protect the IP when it resides inside the device or is in transit and in flight being communicated from another device or back to the cloud. At Renesas Electronics, we are pioneer when it comes to embedded security. Together with our partners, we can really provide end-to-end security. With all of these sensors, the billions of devices that's being talked about, I think the power efficiency is going to play a key role. A lot of the devices are going to be battery powered and are battery powered, and it's really bringing the energy efficiency to make sure that we are kinder to the environment. And finally, from a cost perspective, what the endpoint does is, because you're making a lot of local decisions, you have the AI models that are running on an intelligent device. You're not really utilizing a large amounts of data communication and transporting this over the network. So you are saving on a network transportation cost, storage cost, and of course, you're making the system more safe as well for products to deploy in the market. Let me now talk about how Renesas is bridging the key IoT and AI technology. If you look at the left-hand side of this slide, you can see that endpoint are everywhere. So whether you're looking at a smart healthcare device, consider a hospital system where perhaps a patient monitoring system is connected to the network, and then to the nurse or the doctor's desk, or whether it's a smart transportation and logistical process, which is making sure that goods are tracked and delivered from one end of the world to the other, home automation, lots of consumer applications, building automation, the city infrastructures, and let's not forget the industrial revolution that's taking place. So really what Endpoint doing is, if you look on the right hand side, there are a lot of key technologies that go across a number of applications, moving from sensor fusion, where a number of sensors are working in harmony on an industrial network, perhaps motor control, which whether it's a motor in a home appliance, or motor on a factory floor, or motor in a plant, in a water treatment plant, for example. Capacitive touch, cloud connectivity, and functional safety. All of these 9 technologies that you see on the right hand side is where Renesas really takes a leadership position. And the bridge for that is, if you look at the endpoint, basically the interplay on these key technologies is the key. AI and ML, broadly speaking, can be categorized in 3 areas, right? Voice, real-time analytics, and vision. When you talk about the voice, that kind of deals with the spoken words and linguistics that, especially in the post-COVID environment, I think, or even with a smartphone arena, we want to talk to the IoT devices to control them. We kind of been spoiled when we look at the smart devices we have in our homes. In terms of the vision, this deals with, from Renesas Electronics, we provide the solutions, vision, whether it's a machine vision in an industrial environment or on a manufacturing line, looking for defects in supporting the quality production, or you're looking at a visual, a camera-based application. And finally, the real-time analytic. This is where a lot of the exciting things happen, right? This is mostly about the sensor data. So the sensors are everywhere, whether it's industrial or automotive, that matter. And then in the context of real-time analytics, you're collecting the sensor data and time series data that's captured by the sensors that are networked. And this is providing the intelligence on those devices to act upon. These pillars are fundamental how AI and ML can be applied to embedded systems. And it can be a layer on top of these core technologies, basically bridging IoT and AI. So you have your embedded system, and now you want to add the added intelligence to some of the applications I mentioned, and this is really going to be the key. We'll talk about it in the coming section, how Renesas can address this from a holistical technology perspective. We're really proud at Renesas. We are really providing the industry most comprehensive AIoT solution stack. Let me start you from the bottom end of this slide. We are a pioneer and a market leader when it comes to the compute products, whether it's the microcontrollers for our RA, RX, RS78, or our MPU devices in terms of RZ. On the top, we have this flexible software package, which is really, providing customers a complete package which is built on a number of choice of operating system, whether it's FreeRTOS, whether it's the Azure OS. It's really providing, together with different application frameworks and functional libraries, to be able to develop a complete solution. We also had a lot of communication stack as well. Built on our very robust hardware, this software package enables developer to either work at the API level, or you can go down to the register level to be able to provide a complete communication or infrastructure or different packages. We're also supporting, of course, RT Thread IoT OS as well, and I'll share a bit more on the coming slide, really providing this open community that RT Thread has created, providing them with a complete package of software that comes and kind of does its magic, from a solution perspective. Then if you look at the next level up, this is where we're providing, under our Renesas Ready Partner Network, reusable software building blocks. So remember those 9 key technologies that I mentioned: security, functional safety, sensing, different AI, ML blocks, motor control, etc. A complete stack that can speed up your time to market. They have been fully tested and integrated with our hardware. And then, very quickly, you can, just download this. You can go to renesas.com. Under our ecosystem section, you can have, some of them are commercial building blocks, some of them are open source, free to use, really providing, we have over 100 building blocks in the context of those key applications that I was mentioning, and really providing a consistent approach. And on top of this software building blocks, we're providing the reference design and hardware platform. For example, we have the complete cloud kit based on our RA and RX microcontroller. We're also providing a voice recognition development kit. So you can add voice, whether it's an elevator system, whether it's a voice on a consumer control on a consumer product, or on a factory floor. Similarly, we have solutions for graphics and motor control for different types of motor application. And really, my message on this slide is that we are your partner to provide you with the comprehensive hardware offering, together with the software platform in the middle, which has the choice of different operating systems, including the excellent RT Thread OS software framework that you saw in the previous presentation as well. To really complete that design, we can add the building blocks from different technologies on top. Let me now talk about some of the examples. Let's take a deeper look into how Renesas can provide some of the AI IoT solution examples and application support. Here, first of all, I'll talk about the voice. Certainly, as I said, this is becoming a key interface when you're interacting with IoT devices, right? We're really moving out from a consumer world into voice-controlled, products that we can control. Here we have a very comprehensive and intuitive tool chain. Together with our partner, you have a PC-based tool that you see on the slide here, where you can basically type the command, the voice command that you want to train on your smart device. It will convert it into a voice command, which you can then run this on in our case, on a choice of M23 or M33 devices. It's a license-free development as well, and it's really applicable to a number of applications. And you can, really, I think the key message here is a commercial grade solution to add voice user interface literally in minutes. The next section I want to talk, which is I think really is very, very groundbreaking, is about applying multi-models to authenticate, access, or personalize an experience. This is really interesting. If you look at the market of the AI and the ML today, a lot of these type of complex multi-model solutions will require very high horsepower, very high processing power. We are able to, and it's a quite unique offering from Renesas Electronics, we are able to run this on our RA microcontroller, which is based on M33 device, and it literally runs 4 independent machine learning models and use cases like voice, vision, and authenticate in a pre-enrolled manner. This is really groundbreaking for a number of applications. The third example I'd like to share with you is the sensorless predictive maintenance. Now, this could be a motor control solution that can be applied to a HVAC sector, whether it's heating, aircon, smart appliance, or even in an industrial environment. Really, in this case, a vast field. In this solution, we can detect, for example, an unbalanced load condition without user of any sensor. That's the message. In a lot of the application, you'll have to invest into an expensive sensor. We can do this in software and really predict the load unbalancing, for example, without using a sensor. Typically, an accelerometer or another sensor is needed to leverage the information to make this accurate prediction. That's really, really interesting. As part of this solution, we're really providing a complete software and hardware reference design for customers to implement. And finally, as an example, I think logistics and transportation and asset tracking is a high growth segment, certainly in the context of how people are transporting things, adding more intelligence to the products that's being shipped from one end of the world to the other. It's a large opportunity, right? And it's really a lot of use cases in this as well. Again, with this, we are really leveraging multiple modalities, right? We are running, these multi models on our devices, and again, providing a complete solution that can provide a very high value logistics and asset deployment solution as well. I think the key in terms of the building blocks, let me express that a little bit more on the next slide. So I want to elaborate a little bit on the authentication and personalization use case. So whether it's a person detection, perhaps coming into a building or a factory, or it's a facial recognition, or you want to use the voice in terms of speaker identification, or a full facial detection in a vision control system. So basically, you're looking at 4 different machine learning models that run on our Cortex M33 RA device, right? This is what I was trying to explain in the previous slide. The way we have approached this, the models have been highly optimized, and it's amazing that can be achieved with such a little compute and memory resources. So you don't have to run this on a very high-end SoC or high compute machine backed by resources on the cloud or the server. This all can be managed in a 32-bit microcontroller. In this case, the solution detects the person, it recognizes a face, and then it analyzes the voice and the facial gestures and signatures to authenticate the user, right? So obviously it's providing a multi-layer of security from an access control perspective, and also it's all being done in a very optimized fashion as well. There could be many applications which this could be beneficial as well, anywhere from a consumer to deployment on the factory floor. And really the opportunities of this kind of applications are endless as we move into this whole opportunity in terms of the AI and ML space. Let me now talk about the products that we provide as Renesas Electronics. So starting from the left-hand side, we really have a very broad coverage of our compute, our microcontroller products. We are the number one 32-bit microcontroller semiconductor player in the world. So we ship the most microcontrollers in the automotive and the industrial space. Our flagship RA microcontroller is built on the advanced ARM core, but really add our intelligent peripherals really to support a number of IoT applications. We have the inbuilt security. So Renesas has been a security leader over a number of years, coming from transactional security into automotive, and we bringing that into the IoT space. RZ is our MPU, so we have both 32 and 64-bit options. You saw in the RT Thread presentation the support for our products are part of the RT platform, and here we're providing the solutions for high-end HMI, industrial networking, and real-time control. And then we have a number of other cores, which is based on our products, our core, RX, for example. RX is the number one 32-bit CPU core in terms of MIPS per megahertz. And RX microcontroller is optimized to address motor control applications, capacitive touch, which is a key, very robust IP that we develop in-house. We provide functional safety solution for factory automation, as well as graphical user interfaces as well. And then we have the RL78, which is very successful for ultra low power application. We are a number one player when it comes to 816-bit market, and we are providing a really low cost, power sensitive products from our side. And we have the RH850, which is our automotive product. We combine down the right hand side with a whole host of analog and power devices, whether it's clock and timing functions or RF for sensing, really a very, very complete portfolio. With that, we combine this with a very broad ecosystem. We believe that we need, together with the community, I think at the opening of this session, my colleague talked about the strength of the community. At Renesas, we believe that this is really important. So we work with a number of partners like RT Thread, in these technology areas, whether it's security, artificial intelligence. It's really providing, under the umbrella of Renesas Ready Partner Network, a ready-to-use software building blocks that customers can quickly add to their design, to add whether it's they want to have end-to-end security, whether the voice application I talked about. We have, for example, we have a company like Cybron in the artificial intelligence world. We are working with a company like Reality AI, which providing real-time analytical support, or Edge Impulse, and then on the connectivity side, a number of options as well. Really, my message here is that we're providing a whole host of reusable building blocks on top of our compute products to complete the AI IoT solution for the market. Let me now talk about the powerful combination of Renesas FSP and RT Thread. Renesas is a proud supporter of RT Thread. Its powerful integration with our flexible software package allows the engineers to make RA, MCU, BSP within 1 hour, right? Very, very quickly. We have lots of tutorials, where we can go and, you can learn about this. We have visual configuration of a lot of IoT middleware. Over 400 different packages are available. You can see this on some of the list on the left-hand side. Really together, we can provide a complete solution with our powerful microcontrollers, with our baseline software package coupled with RT Thread. It's supported, the BSP is ready with the Kyle MDK, or you can use GCC, which is where RT Threads together with the RT Thread Studio. We have lots of tutorials. You can see the links on this slide where you can go to the RT Thread website to look at some of the development guides and some of the tips and tricks. You can also go to the RT Thread Q&A, technical Q&A forum to ask questions. My message here is we're providing an open source design together with our RA portfolio, with the community and the broader support from RT Thread. So it's really, really very, very powerful value proposition. Coming to the end of my presentation, let me just leave you with some key messages. First of all, I feel the convergence of AI and IoT is a mega trend that cannot be ignored. As I expressed to you in my presentation, there are a number of opportunities, whether you are in a consumer world, industrial, automotive. There are a number of opportunities where we can benefit. At Renesas, as I expressed in a short time, we really have very comprehensive offering, together with the OS and the base platform with RT Thread and other operating systems. On top, we're providing lots of middleware, to really increase the intelligence at the endpoint. We feel that our collaboration with partners like RT Thread is going to be fundamental in terms of grow the IoT and the IoT space. Let me thank you for your time and for your attention, and I hope you are able to learn how together as a community you can work with Renesas Electronics and RT Thread to add intelligence in this IoT world, where the endpoint, the sensing, the edge of the network is becoming more and more intelligent. You can visit our website www.renesas.com for more detail. That's the end of my material. I'm more than happy to take any questions or any comments from the audience.